One point on that is what's tragic about the Khmer Rouge in your story is that they killed off the people that are intelligent.
Yes.
Right? And landowners, but anyone with, intelligence that was doing something, they saw them as a threat.
Yes.
And so then you guys lost maybe your brightest minds, of your country.
Yeah.
Which is a crazy shame. Vietnam didn't have to deal with that.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. There's a stark difference, also, although we share the same commonality, the same foundation of being displaced because of war, our circumstances was largely different. Like Rango mentioned here, one of the first actions of the Khmer Rouge regime was to get rid of the intellectuals, was to get rid of the artists, get rid of professionals, get rid of all these institutions that promoted culture, anything that had to do with Western influence they got rid of. So even if you wore glasses, the assumption that you wore glasses, that you were smart, you were literate, they would just murder you, right? So as you said, Cambodians lost a whole generation of knowledge, wisdom, artists. They got rid of movies, they got rid of music. They kept a couple artists and songwriters to,
Did they get rid of these people? Definitely the wealthy people too. People with money, like period. Yep. If you had money, you're gone because you oppress.
Yes.
They thought you oppressed everybody else, and some of them did, but most of them were just wealthy people, right?
Yeah. The thing is, it was a class war, right? The Khmer Rouge were largely, the leaders of the Khmer Rouge were highly educated. They were educated in France, picked up Marxism, picked up communism, but the supporters of the movement were largely farmers, rural, uneducated folks who didn't have access to education, so they were easily manipulated. So the easiest thing to do to exert control is to remove education, because when you have free thought education, you're able to critically think, you're able to challenge.
Kind of like what's happening right now, right? With the dismantling of the Department of Education. You know what I mean? All right, we'll get into that. But
And Pol Pot, the leader of the Khmer Rouge, said, no revolutions has been as fast as ours, but the destruction was the intention. They didn't have anything to replace it. So you see, as in 4 years, turmoil and chaos just spiraled, where almost a quarter of the population passed away. So I wanted to touch back on the refugee journey too. When the North Vietnamese toppled the South Vietnamese government, a lot of the South Vietnamese folks were the refugees that came to America. So there are a lot of merchants, already educated, resources, was a little bit more, not prosperous, but had a little bit more than Cambodians came in. Cambodians came here uneducated, nothing on their back. So it took us a little bit more time to kind of get our setting. Like even 50 years later, if you look at it in Tacoma, we only have one Cambodian restaurant. You know what I'm saying? And there's on 38th Street, we have like 6 pho restaurants and all phenomenal. Yeah, I love it. I love seeing like there's so much space for, it's just like having 8 Starbucks within a block. I'd rather have 6 pho restaurants and 8 Starbucks. So there's room and space for everybody. To my point, you can see the difference in the economic mobility in our communities, educational mobilities. But I think as our Cambodian community at large, I think we're finally catching up 50 years later.
We're definitely neighbors, brothers.
Absolutely.
When I see my Cambodian brothers, I'm like, that's us. That's like us. Then Filipinos. And we don't meet too much Laos and Thailand because they never had a war and they never had to leave. The Cambodian, Vietnamese.
Well, I want to say Laos. Laos was the most bombed country.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Thailand. I'm still trying to. I need to do some more research, but Thailand was really insulated from the war. They didn't get affected. They accepted refugees.
They're over there doing their own thing.
Yeah, they had refugee camps. They were really insulated. But Laos was a victim too. Laos is, I think they get left out of conversation because, like Cambodia, a lot of the population suffered. I mean, during that war, they were the most bombed country during that war. So.
But I think their populations are small. The ones that came here, but we kind of throw them all together. Like, you talk about Laos, you talk about Cambodian.
Yeah.
So